What's a hard-hitting life lesson you learned way too late in life? Comparison is the thief of joy. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. A lot of high-paid executives aren't in that position because they're the most successful one in the room. They're in the position because they prioritized their career at the expense of everything else. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Quit expecting you from other people. Work-life balance is critical, and hustle culture is stupid. The only people who notice all those extra hours you put in at work are your family and friends. What's romanticized that shouldn't be romanticized? Whatever the fuck happened in The Notebook. Toxic romantic relationships, and the messy never stays confined to the relationship. Friends, family, and sometimes innocent bystanders can all wind up splattered in it. A mental health diagnosis for anytime someone feels a little unhappy, slighted, or uncomfortable. Mental illness is a nightmare for those living it. Chasing after someone who has told you they're not interested. Mobsters. Grind culture. Overworking. Serial killers. For reference, Ted Bundy. All of Netflix serial killer docs. Workers who rely on tips. Who are the worst tippers? People from countries that don't usually tip. Worst tippers. Elderly couples and any group of children. Sports teams, scouts. Best tippers. Blue-collar lunch groups. Especially if they're Hispanic. If a group of 8 muddy men come in at 1 p.m. I will fight you for that table. Church people on a Sunday. The offering plate already got their loose change. God Squad. I can't tell you how many fake bills I received that were actually pamphlets trying to save my soul. My former high school Spanish teacher. I'd deliver food to her house all the time and she'd get enough food to feed her whole family and then tip me $1. Sometimes she didn't have singles handy so she'd give me a 5 and then not tip me the next 4 times I delivered to her. Fuck you, Christine. People who've lost a lot of weight. How did you do it? Ate less, ate healthier, and exercised. I didn't make a lot of big changes at once either. First thing I did was cut sodas out of my diet. Then a couple of weeks later, I started leaving cheese off my burgers and hot dogs. Couple of weeks after that started ordering small meals at fast food places instead of large ones. Then I started eating cucumber slices instead of chips, fries. Then instead of eating shit like candy bars, I switched to chocolate-covered fruit, and eventually to just regular fruit. Stuff like that. As for exercise, again, nothing major. First change was walking once around the block I lived on. For weeks that was it. Then I started adding in bicep curls. Then sit-ups. Then push-ups. Then light stretches. Over a 6-month period I went from 345 and walking a half mile leaving me breathless and with chest pains to 267 and walking several miles at a time. What's a show that slowly went from a 0 to 100? Invincible. The first episode seemed like a generic superhero origin story up until the last few minutes of the episode. The Good Place. Quirky show about the afterlife turns into much more post-season 1. The Expanse. You have to watch the first episodes on faith or something but it's worth it. Community. Starts off as a pretty average sitcom for the first 5 or 6 episodes. Then, I presume under the threat of cancellation, it goes completely off the rails in the best possible way. And by episode 10, it's already streets ahead. The Boys 0 to 100 in 120 seconds, which is a lifetime.